அவர் கொடுத்தாங்க தாங்க.
ஐயா நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாங்க ஐயா.
ஓகே, thank you. Hi everybody, have a great day. Welcome you all for the third day session. The last session we had a brief description regarding the nature of 5 elements and their nature within us corresponding to. We all have that nature of the 5 elements, but the ratio of them always differ from person to person. The ratio is totally different. We are all unique in nature with a different ratio. Acupuncture defines another character, which the Chinese mention as yin and yang. There is no equal word in English or any other language, can definitely say. In Hindu religion, we mentioned the word Shakti and Shivam. Shakti, we can say equal to the yin and Shivam equal to the yang. Shakti is a form of stored energy, inert. It's a stored part. And Shivam, yang, is the part which is in action, the utilization and the usage of that energy, yin and yang. The yin, every element has an organ with a yin nature and an organ with yang nature. The organ with the yin nature receives the element energy from the nature and restores it within. Yin nature is of generally 4 factors: receiving, restoring, procuring energy to the yang organ, and on demand of the body, it also executes, uses the element's energy. These are all related to the yin nature. And the yang, it only makes use of the energy, the element energy, which it receives from the yin. It has only one responsibility: to use, to execute the functionalities of those particular element within the body and mind. It is always performed according to the surroundings and the situations what we are exposed to. The need is being decided by the body, and accordingly the yin and yang ensures that it is being balanced. We have seen in the last session that there is a yin organ for every element and there is a yang organ for every element. The yin is considered as feminine in nature and the yang is considered as masculine in nature, male, female and male, you can say. So whatever we feel as the basic characters of the feminine, the female, is considered as yin, and the basic nature of the masculine, most of the men, are considered as yang nature. It is the same. Every individual has percentage of yin and yang nature. Mostly men have more yang nature and limited yin nature. Females have most yin nature and limited yang nature. As we have said, four factors belonging to the yin nature. It also explains that the female are much superior to the men. They are always superior. They have the capability of receiving the energy from the nature, from the space, from the universe, everywhere. They have their own capability to receive, and men do not have. They need to receive the energy from the in-natured females. But men always prove themselves as superior. Most of the societies to consider men as superior. Why? There has to be a strong reason for it. Why the person who doesn't have much capability is considered superior? Because of their executing nature, the activities, they're getting into action. It makes them feel superior. If there is a competition between yin and yang, definitely yang will prove superior. It will use every pint of its energy to prove superior. But the nature of yin, the feminine, the females, their nature itself is not to compete. They are not much interested in competing. That too for silly things. No, never. So definitely they are not going to use their energy to the in full. They are not much interested. But the young natured man uses the last drop of their energy to prove themselves. They always. So it does not mean they can prove means they are superior. No, by nature, yin is superior than yang. So today we are going to see them in detail. In the in nature, the darkness is considered as with in nature, and the brightness is considered as yang natured. Darkness, we can mean them as night. In the night, generally, we tend to rest and restore the energy what we have lost in the day, as well as for our next day workouts, we restore the energy need. So darkness is considered as in nature. It's daytime. And in darkness is nighttime. And the brightness, that is the daytime, we make use of the energy, whatever we have restored in the darkness. If you see the sky, the overall sky, the darkness is more than the brightness. In daytime, we feel the brightness as we are facing the nearest sun, facing the direction of the sun, the nearest star. So we have a complete day. But in night time, we are on the other side, not facing the sun. Now, when we look at the sky, the darkness is much bigger. That is a view of the universe. The darkness is bigger. Here and there, we see some sort of brightness by the stars. So here also, the yin, it proves its superiority. The yang is of minimum nature. But we, in the daytime, being near to the sun, we feel that yang is superior. Have it. So every sort of nature of darkness, the people who like darkness, like the black colored things and all, they will be having the in nature most. The darkness is the nighttime is the time to be idle, to rest. Brightness, the day is to work out. That is yang nature. So whatever we do, keep ourselves idle, that is in nature. Everybody has to be in idle position for some or other period. And everybody works out. When we consider the day and night, it forms a complete day. As far as the earth is concerned, you be in any part of the earth, the day and night, it may vary during seasons. But if you calculate overall for a year, the day and night are equally divided. 6 months darkness and 6 months brightness. So in the earth, we may be in any part, any geological location. We have equal yin and yang exposure. The nature is of this nature only. Nature influences on being the yin and yang nature to be equal. So that comes when it comes to the next part, female and male. They are also to be of equal. When they share everything, then you get the complete picture, the best performance always. Female, they have the special nature of multiple tasking. Male do not have such multiple skills. They cannot perform multiple tasks at a time. But male are best in performing single task, only one task at a time. They can do the best. Female are capable of handling multiple tasks. Whatever we feel as the nature of female, it all are of in nature only. Their multiple tasking belongs to visiting the office, looking after the home, in need, driving, managing the family, looking after the old people. Everything can be calculated. But male generally employs himself only in earning or looking after the family, or in matters of safety, as and when required, he stands in the front to take care of the family. But rest all around the world, most of the activities are performed by the in nature. You have seen the elements, every elements have a in natured organ and a yang natured organ. If you see the organs which we work around the clock, organs which work around the clock, like lungs, heart, kidneys, these all organs are of in nature. Female too have the same nature. They work all around the clock. Even though they are slow. In these organs, few organs, very few, they do not make any sound also. They do not make any noise. When lungs is working, heart is working, or kidney is working, there won't be much noise. But when an organ of yang nature works, like stomach, large intestine, urinary bladder, when they are forced into action, they always make some noise that they are doing something bigger than the in-natured organs. But they don't work around the clock. Their nature of duty, their performance begins as and when some part of food or other element nature things enter them. But as far as the in-natured organs are concerned, they work around the clock. Female too are of similar nature. They always think about, they always keep working. Male do not do like that. Another nature you can say as cool. Whichever things are cool, they are in a state of in nature. Anything which is cool and anything which is hot is of yang nature. Generally, when we are inert or do not put your energy into action, the condition will be cool. When some action is on with an energy, definitely it gets into action. Yang nature, it becomes hot. Anything, an engine, when it is idle, it's cool. But when it is started, it starts functioning, it gets hot. So this is the nature of yin and yang, you can say. The inner and outer. inner and outer. Generally, the things which are hidden inner are considered as to be in nature. The things which are exposed outside are mentioned as yang nature. Mostly all the in organs are kept in deep in a safe condition, and mostly young organs are given some little exposure. Every part, the female, they would like to be always work in the inner conditions, and the male, they would like to work in outer conditions, outside. Anything which is inner and outer, anything. To take the games, the indoor games, they are all in nature. The outdoor games which need full action, they are considered as yang nature. So anything which you can consider as yin. Even in the diseases, initially they will be in the outer part. Initially they will be of yang nature. In a due course of time, they penetrate deep inside. They acquire a form of yin. So whenever the disease in the yang nature, it will be easy to be treated, and when it gets into in nature, it becomes difficult to get treated. So anything which is inner or outer, in nature, these are all the things we are going to come across in matters of when we say yin or yang. When we are going to use the word, it has a meaning in this thing. Then the next part comes. The bottom part is in nature, and the upper part is yang nature. Bottom, if we consider that one, the bottom part of our body as well as legs, they are of in nature. They are to mentioned to stand steadily always. But the upper part of the body, the hands, they are free to work all the time. They need not to perform the balance always. They need to work when they get into action. The organs which are in the bottom part of the body have much more in nature, and the organs in the upper part, they have much more yang nature. The face, it's a representative of the yang nature. It's in the upper part. Anybody, they are performing, their capability can be noticed from the face. Their freshness, the briskness, their energy level, everything can be felt in the upper part, not by the bottom part. So this is currently, bottom part is considered as in nature. Even if you are forced to use the bottom part, use the legs for some purpose. One leg will be stable in the ground, and the other leg only can be moved. It is always like that. But if both the legs get into action, then the energy released, energy utilized may be much more than the power of the hands. So the next part comes as hard organs and hollow organs. So whatever organs, the in-natured organs, what we have seen, they are all little bit harder. Lungs, heart, kidneys, liver, spleen. These are all organs which are heavy and harder, without any space within. or limited space within. The yang-natured organs are of hollow in nature. Small intestine, large intestine, urinary bladder, gallbladder. These are all, if you see, they are supposed to be empty. But when some sort of food or other article elements enter them, they come into action. Whatever they need to work up on it, they work on it, and then they expel those things. So they get their job only some part of the energy or element enters them. So the hard organs, they always work. They do not have a break. They keep working, keep working. Even if a stomach and all, they are all empty, no problem. The in organs, hard organs, they keep working. So, whichever is working around the clock, they are of in nature. Whichever works when something comes to them, comes in front of them, they are yang nature. At the same time, the passive nature and the active nature. Passive is of in nature, active is of yang nature. So if you have, why passive is in nature? Because its nature is, it is considered as in. If you own a vehicle or an engine, how much time it is passive and how much time it is active? Most of the times it is supposed to be passive only. And limited times it is active. But active is the purpose of that engine or vehicle, whatever. Passive is not the purpose. But passive is much required to gain their active nature, to get their best active nature. The parts which tend to be passive tend to make the things passive, and the parts which tends to make the things active. We can say a brake of a vehicle, it's passive. It tends to make the vehicle to a passive nature. It tends to, if you apply the brake, the vehicle come to a halt, passive nature. The accelerator is of yang nature. It enhances, it forces the activities, activeness. When you raise the accelerator, the vehicle moves faster. Without that accelerator, that speed, the purpose of the vehicle is not done. It's not being achieved. The purpose is not achieved. But if you remove the brakes, now you go for a drive. Will you be able to save? You are not safe. You can race, but that will be your final race. No more race. So without brake, the accelerator is very dangerous. At the same time, if accelerator is not there, still you can run the vehicle just by pedaling or by doing something, just by pulling on your leg, or in a slopey area, you can go, still you will be safe because your brakes are active, they are efficient and in use. So the in nature, it can do, has its own nature, course of action. When you are confident that your brakes are fully efficient, then you can raise the accelerator to any speed and still you will be safe. So the yin and yang are to work with this coordination. Yin can perform individually too, but yang performance individually is very dangerous. To itself only. to the others also, as well as to itself. So yin has to be in its place, performing its function, and yang has to be in its position to perform its function. As we have said, in nature is to restore energy. Yang nature expresses the energy level. The engine, the fuel, they are all of in nature. When they are in express, they are in action, they are of yang nature. Within us also, the body is considered as in nature and our mind is considered as yang nature. The body has its own minimum action, but mind has unlimited action. Mind is the leader, it leads. The functions of body, the organs within, they all can be measured. They all can be seen with your the eyes. If not, with some equipments, every action of the body, the muscles, tissues, cells, everything can be physically seen. So whatever we can see physically, they are all of in nature. As far as mind is concerned, you cannot see that first thing and how it is performing, in which direction it is going to perform. Nobody can judge nor guess prior. But it can make the body perform in a much better way. And as far as humans are concerned, we are made of our mind only. As we expressed earlier also, our thoughts, they can take us to the peak as well as deep down also. It can take us anywhere, irrespective of the body condition. The body condition may be any. You might have heard of a person without his both legs climbed the Mount Everest. But persons with both the legs hesitate to climb just a few steps because they feel, no, it's not possible for me. It is the nature of mind which can do that, the most impossible to become possible. So whatever we can see, they are of in nature, and whatever we cannot see, they are of yang nature. The earth is considered as in nature and heaven is considered as yang nature. In the earth, whatever things are available, we can see. Physically, we can see their activities, their function, everything can be noticed. But in heaven, what is available in the heaven, how they perform their function, it's not seen. It cannot be explained by anybody. So they are of yang nature. Another thing is the emotional things, the emotional reactions. Even the emotions, it can be felt. But how it is being, the reaction, that is sensual. They are of yang nature. How that emotion is being sensed, how they respond. They are of yang nature. Death is considered as in nature. Death is a bitter truth and birth is a beautiful lie. Death is confirmed, birth is not confirmed. The unique things, the most consistent things are considered as in nature. And a thing which is not consistent, which is full of lies, which has its happiness, but not consistent. It is birth. It is considered as young nature. We all love to live. We love that young nature, birth. Everyone has the notion that I am not going to die. I am going to be alive in this earth. Hundreds of thousands of years, young years. Everybody plan their life such a fashion. It makes them happy. It makes them feel active. That is a young nature. But from where we came, from an ideal position, from where we came, we need to go back to that nature. And death is the entry for that nature entry. In nature, things are structured. Whichever things have structure, they are in nature. As seen earlier also, the organs, the earth, which earth is of in nature and heaven is of young nature. Body is earth, mind is young. So the structured are of in nature and the formless things are of young nature. Even in the elements, whichever elements have structure, which can be seen, they are all of considered as having more in nature. Earth, we can see, that is considered as in nature. Water is considered as having in nature. Wood, it is considered as in nature. Air is formless. It's considered as having a young nature. Fire, no form. So they are considered as young nature. Everything of this universe, even though within that wood or air, there is a in nature as well as young nature. In air also, there is a in nature as well as young nature. Fire also, same. In nature as well as young nature. But the basic view is whichever has a structure is in and whichever does not have a structure is young. Everywhere it is considered. When we consider seasons, the rainy season, the winter season, they are cool. The rainy season or winter season, they are cool. Which you have seen already. Coolness is considered as in nature. And the spring and summer, which is warm, hot, they are of young nature. Everything. Even in every food we have, every moment we have, they all have in nature as well as young nature. In nature means the positivity. Sorry, here I have written wrong. In nature is negativity. Whichever is considered as negative, they are all of in nature. The positivity is considered as young nature. As we have seen, death. Death no one sees as a positive attitude. It's considered as a negative attitude. So mostly females, they always look behind the whatever is visible, whichever is hidden behind, they go through. They are of in nature. And the positivity to overcome such things. We have an idea. We think of our mind. So that is considered as yang nature. So positivity is yang nature. Negativity, mostly it will be visible to our eyes also. But positivity, it may not be visible. We have a lot of hopes, the positivity, hope, believe, trust, which are all considered as positivity. And one more thing is the shrink and the expanded. Whenever someone gets into the in nature, we tend to shrink. And when we tend to get expanded, we get into a yang nature. Heart nature, we try to get expanded. Cool is shrink, heart is expanded. This we can consider as even the emotions. The next line is the emotions, fear, grief. In such emotions, generally we tend to shrink. In anger or happiness, we tend to get expanded. All these things belong to certain elements nature too. This we will come to know one by one when we go to the organs, channels, meridians, points, and all. We'll explain everything in detail. So female, they generally tend to look back. They tend to get back. The lack of thinking to be in the front. As I have said, everybody has a mixture nature of yin and yang. Males are with little more yang nature and females are with more in nature. This is what I mean to say. So generally the emotions also, the fear and grief are considered as emotions of negative nature, in nature, and the anger and happy are considered as heart, positive, and sensual nature. That is yang nature. And one more thing we can say, the left and right. The left and right. The left is considered as in nature. The right is considered as yang nature. That let us discuss in the last. Shallow and peak. This in every way. Whichever is shallow, it will not be much fast. It will not make much sound. It will not have much speed. So they all belong to the in nature. Whichever is in the peak, they tend to move. They tend to make noise. They tend to have speed. They are all of yang nature. Backward and forward. As we have seen, generally the in nature tends you to pull back and the yang nature tends you to push forward. It happens backward as well as forward. Female are of this backward nature and mostly male are of forward nature. Move forward, push forward, push forward. Another thing is slower and faster. In nature, means as we have said, the ideal condition, the restoring condition, they tend to be slower, and the yang condition tends to be faster. And you can say the left as well as right. Left is of in nature, right is of yang nature. Right, which is right, which is wrong. It is not that left or right, left, right. Generally, when we tend to attack someone, our right tends to come forward first. The right is considered as yang, first getting into action. When somebody is trying to get in action, our left tends to defend. It tends to defend, block. So this is considered as yang nature. So this will make you understand that we all have the yin as well as yang nature within. We all have it. It is basic tendency. Everybody use our right hand sometime and left hand sometime. Even in drives, few countries prefer to have left side drive. Few countries prefer to have right side. The countries which have left drive, left hand drive, left side, they are of mostly in nature. The countries which have used the right side. Right side means not the correct side, that right side. They have the yang nature much more. Generally, the East is having much in nature, and the West is having much yang nature. Even though East is rich in culture or its traditions, West makes use of every minute, every small things, make use of it and develops much more, much faster. So they are of yang nature. We cannot say which is superior in these activities and all. Generally, the in nature does not feel to compete. They do not prefer to, they do not have the intensity that I should win. Everybody. Over is not having the intensity to win, the keenness to win. They are of in nature, feminine nature. Whoever is having the keenness to win, go forward, becoming much hot. They are all of yang nature. So it happens. So yin and yang are in every part of our life. Everybody go to sleep at night. So we accommodate ourselves with yin. In the daytime, we go out. So we turn ourselves into the yang nature. And mostly we'll be healthy if we are able to manage them mostly as equal as possible. The yin and yang equal. Still, certain things we may not be able to manage and keep them equal. But with a female, we can complete the performance. The East and as well as the most traditions enforce the male and female to be together. to attain a high state of philosophy. So to attain a high state, to attain the things, to enhance your soul. So the yin and yang, it always has to be equal. It's applicable in every activity. Suppose in the matter of sports, as I have said, the indoor and outdoor. The indoor games may be considered as in nature, and the outdoor are considered as yang nature. Even in food, the food which is being cooked at high temperatures are of yang nature. The food which is cooked at lower temperature are of yin nature. It's very simple. The food which is spicy, hot, are of yang nature. The food which is cool and mint flavored, they are of yin nature. Even the preference of colors, certain colors, they make you very hot. Certain colors make you feel very dull. The climatic conditions, summer and winter. Summer is of yang nature and winter is of in nature. So food, colors, your likes and dislikes, you're getting into emotions. So it does not mean that whatever you prefer, you have that nature. Generally, within us, as well as in nature, when the yin goes to a peak, it tends to gain yang to balance itself. And in our every day-to-day activity, every moment activity, you can feel it. When we get into a hot climate, we tend to prefer cool things because the yang nature within us has crossed the limit. It attained its peak. So we need to balance that yang nature. So we prefer to have something cool. When we are in cool conditions or rainy conditions, we tend to go for something hot, something spicy, because we have a saturation point with that in nature, and to balance the in nature, we prefer to enter the yang nature, to have a yang nature. So it is just like the opposite poles attract each other. Opposite. So whenever we go out, we tend to take the opposite thing. Every season also, our demand becomes just opposite to the nature of the situation what we undergo. After certain work, we tend to rest. When you take something spicy, definitely next you are in need of water to make you cool, to get rid of that hotness. It's applicable in everything. To take a music, when you go to listen to rap music, it's very fast, very noisy, which is of yang nature. And we check the traditional music, very smooth, polite, and with some rhythm, with some formula, what way it is to be performed. They are of in nature. So everywhere it is. Music, food, games. Even in construction of a house, something wants, something trendy. Whoever is behind such and such trendy things, they go for young nature. And whoever is behind the traditional, they want the traditional form, something consistent. Construct a home, purchase some equipments, and they want it to be consistent. It has to live beyond 50 years, 100 years, for many generations. They are to be in use, considering. So that is of in nature. Everything. Now we have a very speedy, fast life. We all tend to go faster for a young natured life. It happens generally when we think that I know much. You have learned a lot. You feel that you have sufficient. So you tend to move into the young. But when you feel, no, you're not you're not having much knowledge, you are not having much experience, then you tend to become slower. Initially, you will be faster. So every activity you can say, it can be explained in such a way. When you take out a vehicle, planning to reach a destination. As I have said, how many times you use the accelerator and how many times you use the brake. How many times you go faster, how many times you become slower. It's a mixture of activity, yin and yang natured activities, mixture of masculine and feminine activities. If you hesitate to use both, are adamant of using only one nature, I will follow this only. Faster or slower, you may not reach your destination. We tend to shift towards yin, yang, yin, yang, yin, yang, yin. Within us also, the organs, even though they are performing, they are to be together in every activity. Whatever energy you restore, you take in, you need to use that one. You need to make use of it. You need to perform with whatever you have restored. If you do not utilize your most of the energy, then definitely the sources, whatever you have cured, they are going to get stagnated and make you sick, make you ill. Most of the people, generally, as we say, whatever we have studied, are we utilizing it? Are we applying somewhere? I don't think so. Definitely, we are not applying somewhere. Whatever qualification you have, if you keep within you, if it is kept in the in status, if it is not exposed, it's not applied, it will make you ill, make you sick. When you expose, when you make use of it, when you apply it, then you will be always healthy. You get the benefit of whatever you have stored. So the yin and yang are supposed to be of equal. They are not supposed to be one-sided. You can also say if you are yang-natured, yang-oriented, you will fall much lesser into trouble. If you are in nature, definitely you are going to invite much more troubles because in has no limit. We can see in our area the female nature, the feminine nature, in nature. Someone is crying. What happened in the exam? He missed some marks. How much he has scored? 98, and he is weeping. Oh, very sad. Here one person is dancing and enjoying with joy. What happened? How many marks he has scored? He just passed in the exam. That is young nature. He has passed and he is happy. Another person with 98% is not happy. Very sad. That is in nature. So in nature, if you prefer to have, then definitely we'll get into much more trouble than the expected, than the calculator. If you are young oriented, making use of the things, applying whatever you have, definitely you are going to be much positive, going to be much happy, healthy, not only your own surroundings also. Even in the diseases, as I said, in the initial stage, will be of the disease will be of young nature. Now it is easy to cure. When it enters the in stage, it will be much difficult. When you are in action, generally keep working. The nature of falling ill will go much less. Most of the people have much more problems when they get retired. Till the time they are employed, they are busy with their schedules, they are healthy. When they tend to become idle, then they invite lot many troubles and they fall sick. So always try to be young oriented. You may have lot many troubles, but think, get into your mind mode. Set your mind towards happiness. Set your mind towards positivity. So that you can get rid of all your problems. Even though the facts may say that you have so and so trouble, you have damaged organs, so and so organs, all your organs are damaged. They all say about the in nature. Agreed. But when you get into that, when you involve yourself into that, then definitely you are not going to come out. But if you get into an activity, young natured thing, definitely you can come out of such things very easily. So yin and yang nature are in every activity, every phenomena, every action, day and night. So the day, the yang, gives a lot of hope. And let us have a look at the chun measurements. Chinese consider this as the body inches. Everybody has a height of 75 chun. They consider that as 75 chun. Our body is measured in such a fashion. Divide our body height by 75. That can be considered as 1 chun. This is being used to reach the points, locations from which joint, from which fold, or in which, from which position to which position. The point is located in between the bones, near to the muscles, 3 chun from here, 3 chun from there, like that. So 1 chun is equal to your height divided by 7. The approximate measurements are taken by your hand activity. So in the middle finger, between the first fold and the second fold, the distance between the first fold and the second fold is taken as inches. 1 chun, 1 body inch, 1 chun. As well as the width of the thumb related to the first fold, it is considered as 1 chun. These distances are considered approximately, not completely. Totally it is not considered, but approximately. Some may have thin fingers, some may have thick fingers. So automatically they differ. But while measuring, approximate, they have mentioned it. And when we take the index finger from the second fold to the tip of the index, it is considered as 2 chun. 1 chun, the width of the thumb, parallel to the first fold, and in the index, second fold to the tip of the finger, it is considered as 2 chun. When you keep all the 4 fingers together, the distance parallel to the second fold of the small finger, parallel to the second fold small finger, it may be taken as 3 chun. So 3 chun means your height divided by 25. At the same time, half of this with 2 fingers in line with the second fold of index finger, it can be considered as 1.5 chun. That is half of 3 chun. So these are the minimum most approximate calculations. With your finger, you can approximately reach the point locations. So 1 chun, 1.5 chun, 2 chuns, as well as 3 chuns. So this can be used to locate the points. Apart from that, they are also considering length of our certain parts, which will be equal to how many chun. So in the hands, from the wrist fold to the elbow fold, it is considered as 12 chun. 12 chun. And this also, the length may vary for certain people. Some may have short arms and some may have little longer arms. But the distance is to be considered as 12 chun only between the elbow fold and wrist fold. So in between, if someone has to mark a point, 6 chun from the wrist fold towards the elbow, you can take the center point between the wrist fold and elbow arm fold. So if it is of 3 chun, then 1/4 of this length may be measured approximately. So these are the things we need to consider. So some may have short or some may have long. Even if some have some handicap, they have a very short arm, one arm short and one arm normal. In that case also, the short or the long, they are to be divided into 12 equal parts to measure 1 chun. And in the back port, so in the lower fold of your buttock to the knee fold, to the rear of the leg, behind the thighs, that length can be considered as 14 chun behind the thigh. And from the knee fold to the outer ankle end, the bone which is being protruding out, that distance is considered as 16 chun. And to the protrusion in the inner ankle, it is considered as 15 chun. This will be mostly required because in the outer ankle, the bone is located in the front part of the knee. And in the inner, it is in the inner ankle protrusion is in the front part of the body, and the outer is considered to be in the rear part. There are 2 bones between the knee and the ankle. So both have their own edges in the ankle. So this distance is to be considered. There are points between these 2 joints in the front as well as rear, which are considered according to the chun length. So in the front, when we consider the ankle fold to the knee, it is considered as 16 chun. A point which is 8 chun apart from the knee is considered to be in the center of the front leg. So approximately, the calculations are to be made approximately. In the other portions also, behind your head, between the ear base, they are considered as 9 chun. So when we consider from the center, the earlobe, the base of the earlobe is considered to be 4.5 chun. That is behind the earlobes. The distance will be from behind, will be considered as 9 chun. So from the center to the ear base, it will be 4.5 chun. So these things are to be kept in mind. When we go to the meridians and point locations, these are going to come in front. We are going to consider those things. So our forehead. The width of the forehead is going to be approximately 3 chun. The width of the four fingers, considering from the second fold of the small finger, the width, it can be considered as 3 chun. Our forehead is considered to be the width of 3 chun. At the same time, from the rear, the lower edge of the hairline to the cervical 7, the last bone of the neck. The last bone of the neck. The neck has 7 bones. So till the last bone, it will be approximately the 3 chun distance. And between the shoulder bones, behind the shoulder, you can feel here 2 bones which are flat in nature. The gap between these 2 bones are considered as 6 chun. So from the center of the spine to the edge of one flat bone is considered as 3 chun. So the gap is 6 chun. So these are the things which we need to consider. And from the center of the neck to the edge of the collarbone, here you can feel a bone. From the neck, the length of the bone goes like this, the edge of the bone. Here also there is a bone which travels to the collar, the edge. The length of this is considered as 8 chun. Here to here 8 chun. Here to here 8 chun. So these are all going to help us. And from this, the pit of the neck, every rib is considered. From the center line to the tip of our nipple, which is considered as 8 chun. The center to the tip of the nipple is considered as 4 chuns. This mostly do not vary. But when you compare from the top to bottom, then position of the nipple, it may vary according to a age and muscle condition. That this distance, it is not going to vary. From the center, the nipple, tip of the nipple, it's going to be 8 chun. So from the center to the nipple, it's 4 chun. So these are all the distance which is to be kept in mind. And from the placenta, center of the placenta, to the lower edge of this rib. If you consider from the edge of the rib, you keep following, you feel a pit in the center. From here to your placenta, your navel, the distance is considered as 8 chun. Here to the navel, it is considered as 8 chun. We will be following these things hereafter in every channel and meridian. When we are going to look at the points, these are all going to come in action. And from the navel to the hairline, our genital area hairline, the beginning of those hairline, navel to the base, it is approximately 5 chun. But this portion, our stomach and lower belly, it may not be of exactly the 5 chun or 8 chun. But when you have a bigger belly, then the distance is to be divided equally, divided into 5 parts, navel to the abdomen. In the upper part, it can be divided into 8 parts. 8 chun means the part is to be divided. Everywhere it is like that. So when you consider the elbow, to the wrist fold. When you say 6 chun, approximately it is in the center. 3 chun, then next, between these 2 points. So like this side, this chun, 3 chun, another 3 chun. So like this, they are to be considered. Whenever you feel something odd, then we divide those parts into approximately the number of chun which is supposed to be. And in the same way here also, from this fold, the edge of the fold to this edge, it is considered as 9 chun. This length is considered as 9 chun. So when we say 3, 1/3, 6, 2/3, 9 to the peak. These are the measurements which are going to help to reach the locations of the points, the meridians, the channels, to their exact position. We'll go through these things in the path. In the last session, we have seen the relations between the elements. Every element has a relation with the other 4 elements. Every element is a mother of one element, child of one element, grandchild of one element, and grandmother of another element. Every element has its type. So along with that element, the relation is maintained in such a fashion. We have seen. Let us take the example of water. Water receives its energy from its mother, the air. It always receives. Whenever it is short of energy, it receives energy from the air. When it wants to sedate the energy received, when the energy starts overflowing, and it starts sedating, passing on to its child, the space. Because it is its child, space receives energy from its mother, water. When the water element's energy becomes excess, the excess is being controlled by the earth energy, earth element. Then simply say, whenever there is an overflow of water in reservoirs, canals, we tend to fill the weaker portions with earth so that it does not break up. The dams or reservoirs, its boundaries do not break. We tend to control it with earth. And water controls its grandchild element, fire. This is a very beautiful link. Water controlling fire. How far it is possible? Sometimes fire controls water. The relation goes over right, upright, down, overturns. So such things happens with fire. When we go to the meridians, we'll have plenty of points for treatment. So the most important will be 5 points of the meridians. These 5 points will tend to maintain the relation with other elements as well as with its own. As we have considered, taken water. So we'll have in the water channel, in the water meridian, we'll have a point named as air. The water channel, we will have a point named as air. So that point is going to receive the energy need of the water element. It receives its energy from the air element at this specific point. It maintains its relation with the mother. If there is a discrepancy with the mother, then the point is going to solve the issue. There will be a point named as space. So if there is a discrepancy with the child element, that point is going to be come in action, used to manage the relation between the element with its child. When the element's nature goes out of control, then the earth comes into action. A point in the water meridian named as earth point is going to balance the excess energy of the water element. Then next, the grandchild element. When the water element goes overturned, upright down, which loses its control, which is totally out of control, then the grandchild element, the relation with the grandchild element is to be balanced. So these are the 4 points, and another point also with water nature, the water meridian. To acquire the water nature and balance themselves itself. To balance the water nature within. As we have seen, the organ clocks. So there is a timing for the water element organs. So the point will be balancing the timing also. So 5 points will be of much importance to balance the energy within the elements. Here also it is mentioned as yin as well as yang. We have yin cycle as well as yang cycle. So yang also has the same nature. So yin as well as yang cycles. Every element has some relation with other element. At the same time, within the element, there may be discrepancies of yin nature and yang nature. There will be an important point. There will be an important point to balance the yin and yang nature. In every yin channel, there will be a connecting point to connect the channel to the yang organ as well as yang meridian to keep the flow uniform, to balance the water yin and yang nature. Every element of similar nature, they have a connecting point to balance the yin and yang nature. There will be also a cleft point. Cleft means the cleft where the meridian, the energy of the channel flows deep inside. That point is used mostly for acute disorders. Acute. They are not mostly used for chronic disorders, but acute disorders. The deep flowing, which occur very acute, anytime, anywhere. So other points. One more point is the source point. Every meridian has a source. The source of energy, energy reservoir, where the energy for the meridian is being stored. When that point is being applied, the energy flow in that specific meridian is getting balanced. Wherever there is a short of flow in energy in the channel path or any discrepancy felt in the path of the meridian can be solved by applying the source points. A source and connecting, they have a very close relation. They can be used in combination with each other. A source point in the in meridian, in organ meridian, may be used in combination with the yang organ meridian, the connecting point of the yang organ meridian. Source of yin and connecting of yang. Vice versa. The source of yang in combination with connecting of yin. So they have a best action. The source points are also used to dissolve, treat disorders of the organs. So either way, the source and connecting, they are used in combination. Source of yin, connecting of yang, or source of yang, connecting of yin. So they are used in combination. They play a much vital role in treating the organs and the channel path. Apart from this, there are also points which are given star valuation, which are more effective. And there are also points which has a ruling command over certain areas, which all will be explained to you whenever we come across such things. Let us go through some emergency points. Points are missing. Those points are missing. Okay, let me explain it by hand. The emergency point is in the foot. In the foot, there is an emergency point. Point, how to take out. Just a minute. தாமரை தாமரை just a minute. அம்மா பிள்ளை இருக்கல யாரும் இல்லையா? எனக்கு ஒண்ணு இன்னொன்னு டிரைவ்ல இருந்து எடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னாக்க அது கிடைக்க மாட்டேங்குது. அதுல வந்து இந்த மவுஸ் எல்லாம் ஒண்ணும் சரியா யூசேஜ் பண்ண தெரியல வந்துட்டு.
அவங்க கீழே உங்க போன்லயே வர சொல்லுங்க. என்னோடதுல இது பண்ண முடியாது. என்னோட போன் பண்றா, அப்படியே போன் பண்றா. வந்துருச்சடா. இந்த அப்பா வந்து பேசணுமா?
குட்டிமா இன்னொரு ஃபைல் டிரைவ்ல இருந்து எடுக்கலன்னா எடுக்க முடியலடா. இன்னொரு ஃபைல் இல்ல முடியல. எனக்கு வந்து என்ன சொல்றது, டைம் முடிஞ்சு நான் சொல்ல நினைச்செல்லாம் சொல்லி முடிச்சிட்டேன். இன்னும் வேற ஏதாவது எடுக்கலன்னா எனக்கு எடுக்க வர மாட்டேங்குது. இது எனக்கு கம்ஃபர்டபுளாவே இல்லை வந்துட்டு. நான் கூப்பிடுறேன் அப்புறம். ஹலோ. தாமரை தாமரை இங்க கொஞ்சம் ப்ராப்ளம் ஆயிடுச்சு. சரிங்களா? எனக்கு இன்னும் சரி சரி சரி. இல்ல இல்ல, இங்க வந்து சம் ப்ராப்ளம் வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு ஃபைல் எடுக்கணும். அந்த ஃபைல் எடுக்க முடியல வந்துட்டு. இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ் இதோட முடிச்சுக்கலாம் வந்துட்டு. சரிங்களா? சரி, நான் சொல்லிடுறேன். இப்ப சொல்லிடுறேன், நீங்க டேக் ஓவர் பண்ணீங்க. ஓகே ஓகே. Okay, everybody. Today, let us finish the session as we fall short of some material and some technical problems which we could not solve. So, I thank you all for the session. I thank once again for our well-wisher, Healer Baskar. Let us finish our today's session and meet in the next session on Wednesday at 7:30. Thank you all. Thank you very much.